And we are back for the last segment today. Thank you for hanging out with us. Sam, what's the last story?
All right. So the Reddit post is labeled, "Did I make the right move leaving a negative review?" So they asked, "We hired a contractor to replace old metal roofing last June. After work finished, I immediately found leaks on the 3 chimneys. 3 chimneys is a lot. They were too lazy to cut grooves in the masonry and put enough wood for the screws to bite, and they made bad flashing cuts." They said something worse than bad, though. "Of course, I let the roofer know about the leaks. They did terrible repairs, basically just caulking. They came 4 times over 2 months because the problems didn't go away. After the 4th time, I got fed up and wrote a 2-star Google review." All these 2-star reviews. "I did acknowledge that they came back a few times to try and make it right, but their poor workmanship and shortcuts caused leak issues in the first place. The owner saw the review and literally begged me to give him a last chance to fix the leaks for no cost. I have zero confidence in him, and I want to hire someone else. I am still a little worried about defamation, but I have evidence. Did I make the right moves?" Where's Clay Cox when you need him?
Well, here's my first take here. And this is for all my roofers out there. If you have 3 chimneys, like 3 chimneys, that's where your professionalism will truly show. Anybody can, do like 412, like walkable roof with no, details. When you have 3 chimneys, you are sending professionals, and it will leak. Like that's the penetrations in your roof that the crucial, right? Especially in the metal. Metal is not just like shingles. Metal are way harder, and if you don't know what you're doing, you will be back. I mean, they came back 4 times over 2 months. And it's not going to stop. They're going to keep coming back because that caulk they're trying to work like a magic is going to keep.
What you just said is key. Is metal's way harder because if you have an issue with a shingle roof, you're dealing with the size of a shingle. You can remove that shingle, manipulate. When you work with a metal roof, you have 10 or 12 foot panel. You can't just slide it out,
and you
recut it, put it back. Yeah, you can't just.
You have to do it right the first time.
You have no choice. And so in these situations, what would you imagine? Do you think they're going to have to, disassemble all the panels all the way to this point on the roof? Or
I'm afraid that this job you have to start over, because if you have 3 chimneys and they're all leaking and they're all giving you problems, because metal roof, like, you rarely can remove one. There are new designs right now where you can actually, if it's standing seam, you can remove one because the clips are going both ways, but it's a newer one. I doubt that this contractor would have it based on everything else I see. So you can't just patch it. You can't area work it. You have to start over, and a lot of times shingle cut properly around it. So
I've seen a lot of roofers talk about getting into metal roofing. They're like, "Oh, the margins on metal roofing, it's great. Like you can get even more than asphalt because you can charge so much." And it's like, well, because 1 in 5 you're probably gonna have to do twice.
Yeah, set one of those profits to the side just in case. The biggest thing that bugs me about this one is they did terrible repairs, basically just caulking. Why are you just caulking on a metal? And caulking, you're coming back. Like caulking is something you do when it's not your base customer and they want a temporary fix, and before you figure out what the real repair
Caulking
is.
is what gets you through the statutory warranty you have to give them
Right.
and gets you past that window.
Right.
That's what caulking is.
You're right.
So I want to actually answer the last question to this homeowner. I'm a little worried about defamation, but I have evidence. Do not worry about defamation. They came back 4 times. You are totally in the right here to give them a negative review. Don't feel bad. I mean, 4 times. It's not, even if you do it after the first time, you have the right to do it. It's your experience. It's inconvenience. They charge a premium to probably, I hope so, like on a metal roof, this complex, right? If they cannot make it right, don't feel bad. And I feel like, again, this homeowner, I like this homeowner who's giving 2-star reviews. You are too nice.
I'm never reading 1 stars again. I'm going to go to 2 stars.
What is it, Adam?
Like we see worse reviews for way less. And
exactly. And this is a legit review.
This is like a message to roofers everywhere that there are customers out there who do have patience. Like you coming back 4 times, like they gave you an honest chance. Like after 3, you probably should have just redid it. But it's like, you're sitting there feeling that homeowners are unreasonable. Look how reasonable this homeowner is, and they're worried about them, that they're defaming the company. Like they're
and I think it's also easiest person to please. I guarantee you it was super pleasable customer after first 2 attempts, right? Now it's a 4, and they're still worried. I mean, they don't want to give them any more chances, but they wrote, like, I love people who write.
Those are the people. Reviews. Those are the people that are most hurt. The people that gave you chance after chance, and they probably were like, okay, we're giving 5 stars, and every visit they took a star off.
That's what it is.
And defamation is when you're lying about somebody, not telling the truth. You know.
I mean, for the homeowners listening to this, if you have a metal roof and it leaks, like, they can't just do a repair, right? Like, very rarely. If they can't do a repair the first time that they're out and be like, oh, hey, this part was flashed wrong, or hey, there was a valley here and the way it ended, we have to do something different. Like, if it takes more than 1, at very most 2 attempts, and you're calling them back a third time, there's no way they're doing it without redoing.
Me personally, if I was a customer, knowing what I know about the things that could go wrong with metal roofs and flashing, afterwards, if I had an issue, I would probably call another roofer out, pay them for their time, not a free inspection, say, hey, listen, I'll pay you to go up there and just try to figure it out and give me another professional opinion, and then call the other one back out. And don't tell them what I did.
Before you do that, make sure you don't have a contract with your current contractor that says if anyone steps on the roof, it voids all warranty. Not that I ever did that on
That's
our
true.
That'd
be a super slick line.
It was like, yeah, if someone else steps even a foot on this roof.
You've seen that?
I'm not saying I've done in the past, but yeah, like if another roofer steps on this roof, like how do we know what they did up there?
Adam, my question to you, what do you think is reasonable for attempt to repair? You hire someone, you pay them, you expect them to cover the warranty and stuff. When is it appropriate to go with someone else and start? Because I guarantee you this homeowner probably going to try or will think about trying the original roofer to pay for it, right? Like, I gave you 4 chances. I'm going to hire someone else and send you the bill. When, like, to Sam's point, it's reasonable not to have it.
I think 2 times is your limit, because the first time you're trying to figure it out, right? Sometimes you reveal the true cause when it's a process of elimination. I think it's like after 2, you really start questioning. They would have to have a really good explanation, right? And it would have to be kind of like a doctor, you know what I mean? When you get like I guess it was the rare blood disease from Zimbabwe that you had. It wasn't just like, like some flu bug. It's like the third time, it's either got to be like the craziest thing that like you would never do that first, or you got to start looking at someone else.
And I know some states have, like Wisconsin has the right to repair. In Minnesota, only the city of Duluth has the right to repair, which is odd. I guess other cities are looking at that. And what that is typically is saying that if the contractor touches it, before you go have somebody else pay it, they have the right to repair it. What that number is, I think, is subjective to the situation. If they keep coming back to the same spot, then they can't figure it out. You got to make that own decision. But in some places, there are right to repairs, and that could be great for the contractor, and that can also be bad for the homeowner.
I also want to self-plug contractordirectory.com with a double I. For those of you who don't know what directory is, in the past 5 years, we've settled more than 10 cases like this. And every time there's a dispute with a contractor that gets elevated after a second, third attempt, homeowner just loses trust, wants to call someone else. That's where you need mediator, someone who will, like this homeowner is asking for help. They want to hire someone because in contracting, it's never easy to fix mistakes, but it gets to the point where the homeowner simply does not trust anymore and does want to bring someone else, but you don't know who to trust. You bring another contractor, and now he start bashing the first contractor, and he start telling like, oh, you have to start over, and you don't know if you can trust that contractor because he already have been burned. So there's just so many moving parts here, and in my opinion, I have a couple cases where I settled. If you're reasonable with the contractor and you're reasonable with the homeowner, they will more like I'll give you one example. 5 years ago in Florida, we have a contractor who messed up a tile job and actually did not get paid on the job, like $6,000, and the homeowner did not want to pay them, and he threatened with a lien. And I asked a contractor, what do you want? Do you really want to get paid on a job that they're not happy with? He's like, no, but I have to do something. So I asked a homeowner if we can send another contractor. It was $2,300. Contractor actually paid it. He's like, I'll cover it. No problem. I don't want to deal with them. So not only he got paid, but they deducted $2,300. Sometimes it's just a reasonable third party that doesn't have that bad blood. I feel like at this point, maybe this contractor can do it, but after 4 attempts, I don't think they want to see him. Not only because he's not capable, but because there's a bad blood already.
Right. Good point.
So if that's you, if you the homeowner and you tired dealing with your contractor, see if you can find someone else. And just to be reasonable, in my experience, I always want to be the most reasonable person in these disputes. If you're reasonable with a contractor, if you're reasonable with a homeowner, the best question to ask at the end is, what do you want? What will make you happy? Sometimes homeowners will say like, hey, $500 will do for all my headaches.
This is also marriage advice. When you're in an argument with the wife, like, what do you want out of this? It can be applied everywhere.
How do I go to sleep peacefully?
Yeah, but you will be surprised. Some homeowners will take $500. Some contractors will say, I'll pay someone else to do it. I don't want to come back to your job.
Very good advice.
You will be surprised. It's just, what do you want? What will make you happy? I don't want to deal with you. So
Don't say that last part, though.
all right. Amazing episode today. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next Saturday. Hope you will drink hot drink with us, and we'll be back.